The man who became a movement. Jeremy Corbyn now forced to watch as the Labour Party he built crumbles in the wake of a landslide Conservative victory. Not sorry, but taking responsibility. As the blame game begins, an admission perhaps that far from healing divisions as he hoped, Mr Corbyn himself divided opinion. Mr Corbyn wrote in The Observer, "We have suffered a heavy defeat and I take my responsibility for it. Labour will soon have a new leader, but whoever that will be, our movement will continue to work for a more equal and just society and a sustainable and peaceful world." The central question facing the party now is, where did it go so wrong? Some believe Brexit, not policy, was to blame.
Why should Labour not change its policies? Well, it shouldn't change its policies because they are very, very popular. We will now have a new leader. That new leader, I suspect, will come from a new generation, and we'll see where that takes us, because what Jeremy's done, remember, we are the largest political party in Europe because of Jeremy Corbyn.
But for many Labour candidates, the reality was stark and had crept in over years, not weeks. Time and again, the leader proved the problem. Voters who Labour never thought it would lose turned instead to the Tories.
Nearly on every doorstep, Jeremy Corbyn came up as a negative. People didn't trust him, they didn't believe him. People from armed forces families with connections were worried about him, and that undoubtedly was an issue. They didn't see him as Prime Minister.
This is a pivotal moment for Labour. Was it the message or the messenger that lost them this election? Would voters vote for such a bold policy platform if someone else was in charge? Or was it the decision to tack to the left that made Labour more unelectable than it has been for decades? The answers to these questions will define the party for years to come. With no answers yet, there's no real front-runner, but Rebecca Long-Bailey has already won the support of John McDonnell. Lisa Nandy is seen as a strong voice for the north of the country, but would she win the backing of pro-Corbyn members? Angela Rayner has also been talked up by Mr McDonnell as a future leader, part of the new blood of the party he has helped to foster. Jess Phillips, on the other hand, would be seen as a big departure from the current leadership, but she worries the Tories, which should, in theory, please Labour. Both Sir Keir Starmer and Emily Thornberry are experienced and signed up to Mr Corbyn's politics, but are they too tied to the old regime? The reality is Labour's next leader will be chosen by the very movement Mr Corbyn set up. Will those members be willing to turn away from the project they helped build? Some Labour MPs hope they might. The battle for the heart of the party has already turned nasty, with recriminations flying about the way the leadership treated voters in the north. Caroline Flint speaking earlier today about Emily Thornberry.
She said to one of my colleagues, "I'm glad my constituents aren't as stupid as yours." I'm sorry. It's not acceptable.
A claim denied by Miss Thornberry, who said, "This is a total and utter lie. I have never said this to anyone nor anything like it, and I hope, needless to say, not something I would ever think." Whoever leads Labour out of the Corbyn years faces a battle to hold on to Remain backing city seats while regaining the heartlands which voted to leave. And they'll do it in the shadow of a Conservative Prime Minister who still can't believe his luck and is determined to hold on to those hard-won votes. Kate McCann, Sky News.